Hello, welcome. My name is JesseMcDesign. Today we're going to be doing double portraits. Let's get started. Also, quick disclaimer, this project was started probably 2 months ago. Before I moved, I did a little bit of work in between packing, moving, unpacking, and all that. So there might be some things missing. It might jump from to partially finished to like already all finished or almost completely finished. So just keep that in mind, but enjoy. All right, so this week we're gonna be doing a couple more pet portraits. They're relatively small. We're doing, I believe, 11 by 14. Both of these are two separate if you can't tell. And I'm gonna be kind of working them both at the same time basically. I don't normally like to go much more than like an hour or maybe hour and a half, 2 hours at a time, really focusing in on a certain area of a painting anyway. So I figured I'd take advantage of that and just kind of bounce back and forth. For the first little bits of just like blocking and color and everything, that's gonna work out really well for me. But once we start kind of honing in a little bit more, I will end up just kind of focusing on one at a time and really putting in those final details to make sure, you know, they look like the pet. So as you can see, I started this off as I do any other portrait. I got my design traced onto here. I do normally a clear coat on top of that, and then I'll do what you see now is just a quick tone. And I normally pick a tone that's in the background. In this case, both of them are actually like a wood grain floor. They're both kind of taken on the floor, coincidentally. So we're going with like that light brownish orange tan wood grain color for the backgrounds. So I went with this toned down orange color. We can still see our stencils perfectly fine, but what that does is help, especially in the cats. They have white patches, and that'll just help me know that I'm applying color to the canvas. You know, if I'm doing white on a white canvas, it's kind of hard to see that I've actually got paint on the canvas. It might just be the canvas showing through. So just doing this, make sure that we're gonna be covering the full panel. So with all that being said, we're just gonna jump into a couple quick time lapses and just gonna pretty much color by numbers. We have our stencils, we have our references, and we're just gonna start blocking in simple sections of colors and just slowly doing more and more and more detail. I also like to work from the background front, so we'll get the whole thing covered in some rough colors, and then we'll focus on the backgrounds, get that and get that done completely, and then we'll start working on our main images. So I got the backgrounds pretty much figured out. I'm pretty happy with where they're at. I might tone them a little more yellow or something once I start getting into the rest of the painting. But for now, I'm happy. This one is a little bit more blurry, which is normally what I try to do, is just like an out of focus, whatever is in the background of the actual photo. In this case, they're both happen to be wood grain, like flooring. So I just kind of kept that aesthetic going on. I liked it. It's kind of orangey-ish yellow, kind of pops. This cat has like a more green eyes, so the orange and green will make that contrast look nice. And then with this one, this cat has blue eyes, so I might do this one a little more yellow. I like to kind of, that's usually what I try to play off. You want the focus to come in on the pets. So if a or animal or whatever critter, so I normally like to play off the color of the eyes and get like a nice contrast to make those pop and flop really nice and look good. So what I'm going to do now is just start working on the main images of each of these, but I'm actually going to start off doing not the animals themselves. I like to save, you know, those for the last. They're going to be the last detail. They're going to be the most time put into them. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to start on this right one, and I'm going to start messing with the hat and this bow tie, getting them a little bit closer. And then we're gonna go over here onto this one and start doing this rose and the grapes and getting those knocked out. And then we'll go back and start doing this cat face and body, and then we'll do this cat face and body, and then probably the bird last, or whatever, you know. And that's just how I like it to work. Again, this rose is actually on top of the cat, which is a little bit different, but again, I like to work back to front, which is mostly what we're doing here. I also went in a little bit and added some shadows to the backgrounds. You can kind of see how those look there, but again, as we go, we might adjust how the backgrounds look a little bit. There's still quite a bit of that orange tone I had in there popping through, which I'm okay with because, you know, wood has an orange tone. But again, like I said, I might do a little bit of yellow just to get that the pop a little bit nicer. But let's get back into it and start knocking out some of these non-critter details. Alright, so check it out. It's been probably over a month since the last time I've checked in on these paintings to camera. I've been in the middle of moving. I am now currently moved into my new space. It's took a few weeks to get everything organized, but now I'm back onto my projects, finishing these paintings and starting some new ones. So I don't recall where we left off, but I ended up, you know, doing a little bit here and there when I had a few minutes free time between packing and unpacking and reorganizing this whole place and everything. But I ended up actually finishing this guy off completely. He is varnished and pretty much ready to go, but I'm just trying to waiting to get both of these finished at the same time so I can get shots of them together and everything. But like I said, I've just been busy and I just had some time and I got this guy knocked out just to get it knocked out. These are both commissions and they've both been waiting, but they're also not in a hurry and have been super patient, which is awesome, you know, but I'm just trying to get them finished finally. So like I said, this guy's pretty much there. Got them varnished and ready for delivery. And then we have this little guy and this little bird friend up here. They are pretty much wrapped up. I got the two secondary images, the grapes and the rose here, are pretty much wrapped up. I like how they turned out. And now we're gonna go and finish the main two critters here, the little cat and the little bird. And each of those shouldn't take too much longer than we got already. So we're gonna jump back in and just start knocking out these two things. Then we'll get you some final shots and wrap up this video. All right, so there you have it. 2 pet portraits, technically 3 because this one has 2 done at the same time. Super happy with how both of these came out. You know, I couldn't ask for much more than what we got going on with these. Both of them had a little bit of a custom request for them. This one specifically, you know, wanted the extra double pet, and then they also wanted these 2 extra little treats, I guess. I guess the cat like to chew on flowers, so we have this rose with some bite marks in it if you look really close, and then I guess they used to give the bird the little grapes as treats, so we got those all fit together. And then on this one, the original photo, the cat had the bow tie, but they wanted me to add the top hat, so I did a little Photoshop work beforehand and came up with this. And after getting them varnished, they're both ready to be delivered. This one will be going out fairly soon. They just need to make the final payments, and then this one I'm gonna be holding on to for a little bit. They're moving or something, which, you know, things happen. I'm not too worried about it. They put a deposit down. They'll come back whenever they're ready. But if you like what you saw, hit the thumbs up. It really helps. Hit the subscribe if you want to see more. I'm always over here doing some sort of creative art project, usually painting, home decor, furniture. Who knows? Leave in the comments below. I should do next. See you on the next one.